The meeting of the State Board of Transportation of Georgia will now come to order. At this time, I'm asking Board Member Kathy Williams if she will lead us in our invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the many blessings you bestow on us each and every day. Lord, we ask that you guide us to make the best decisions for all of our citizens, that you help those who are struggling, that you wrap your love around those who are grieving, and that you give strength to those who need it. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish to welcome everyone here. We're glad to have you join us this morning, either digitally or here in person. So welcome to our meeting, our January meeting, January the 16th. Now, each of us have received the copy of the minutes. There's been an update, and it was on your desk this morning in our office. And then we will follow with the approval of the minutes, and then we will have our roll call. Do I have a motion to approve last month's meeting as updated?
I move we approve.
Do I have a second? Motion was made by Mr. McIntyre and second by Mr. Bowen, or by Mr. Brown. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, likewise. At this time, I will ask our administrative assistant, Kristen, if she will please call our roll.
Okay. District 1, Ms. Purcell.
Present.
2, Ms. Williams. 3, Mr. McIntyre.
Present.
4, Mr. Brown.
Present.
5, Ms. Key.
Here.
6, Mr. Bowen.
Here.
7, Mr. Thompson. 8, Mr. Golden.
Here.
9, Ms. Dunn. 10, Mr. Boswell.
Here.
11, Mr. Lewis.
Here.
12, Mr. Snipes. 13, Ms. Lemon. And 14, Mr. Gravely.
Here.
Seeing that we have a quorum present, we will continue, and I will ask this time if Mr. Albert Shelby will please come forward from our program delivery and give us an update in regards to our lettings for February.
So, good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioner, and members of the board, and happy 2025 to everybody. I'm here to present the projects the department is proposing to advertise for the February 2025 letting. Before we present February, here are the current FY 2025 results. We have let a total of 156 projects. This chart shows the number of projects by improvement type. The value of these 156 projects is approximately $1.19 billion through the December 2024 bid awards. Of the 156 projects, 153 are GDOT let with an approximate value of $1.18 billion, and 3 are local let with an approximate value of $11 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type, with bridge, road, and maintenance projects making up the bulk of these improvements. Here are the results of the December 2024 letting. Of the 27 GDOT let contracts that were presented to the board, all were awarded. Now I'm going to discuss the projects in the February 2025 lettings. We have a total of 16 projects, 14 are GDOT let and 2 are local let. The next 2 slides list these 16 projects arranged by congressional district. So as you can see with this slide, we are letting a variety of projects throughout the state to address maintenance, capacity, and safety issues. The first highlighted project will resurface I-95 in Glenn County for a length of 8.2 miles. It was last resurfaced in 2009, which was 16 years ago. The next project will rehab the concrete on I-20 in DeKalb County for a length of 8.5 miles. This next project is also a rehab project of concrete on I-285 in DeKalb County for a length of 6.7 miles. Both of these are excellent examples of our commitment to maintaining our existing infrastructure. This next project will improve congestion for northbound and southbound through movements on State Route 53, which is also State Route 53 connector, by connecting existing right turn auxiliary lanes between Alahuna Drive and Shallowford Road. This will create approximately 0.83 miles segment of 3 through lanes in each direction. The proposed project will also modify the existing median on State Route 53 to add restricted crossing U-turn movements at a few locations. This next project is one of the phases of State Route 5 widening in Fannin County. This phase begins just north of the intersection of State Route 2, which is also State Route 515 in Blue Ridge, and ends at Pine View Lane. It will widen State Route 5 to 4 lanes with a 14-foot center turn lane. The outside shoulders will be a mix of rural and urban footprints with 4-foot bike lanes.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm here to present the TIA project for the February letting. We have one project, it's Airport Road. It's in Dodge County, and we're doing shoulder widening, resurfacing, and maintenance on this roadway. This project will start at State Route 46 in Dodge County and end at the Lawrence County line, so for approximately 6.3 miles of resurfacing, and it represents a $1.6 million commitment in Heart of Georgia in the TIA 2 program.
Thank you. The next slides will also show a design-build project that will be advertised in February of 2025. We're advertising this project early to receive an abundance of quality bids. Here's that description of that project. The project will replace the existing bridge on State Route 42 over Norfolk Southern Railroad in Henry County due to the age and structural deficiency through this design-build contract. It will ensure adequate traffic operations, functionality, and accommodations for future track expansion. It is proposed to let in the 4th quarter of this calendar year. So we have 16 projects proposed for the February 2025 letting. 14 are GDOT let, 2 are local let. This chart shows a distribution by improvement types. The estimate of the February letting is approximately $112 million. This chart shows a dollar amount distribution by improvement type. I now ask for your consideration for approval of the proposed projects presented for the February 2025 letting.
You have heard the information provided to us for our February 2025 letting, 16 projects to be included. Do I have a motion? See a motion by Mr. Golden, a second by Ms. Williams. Having any questions or any comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes carry and motion is passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to ask our Deputy Director of Planning, Mr. Matt Markham, if he would come forward and give our revisions for my contracts.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioner, members of the board. I'm pleased to come before you this morning to present proposed revisions to the construction work program. As I do most times, I have 2 sets of revisions for you this morning. The first one comes to you for review for the first time. There are 7 proposed revisions, a total of 7. All of them are additions to the program. 2 are bridge replacements, and 5 of them are interstate lighting projects. You can see them here on the screen. So these will come back to you next month for recommended approval. This next project I'm bringing to you came before you last month for first review and is coming to you before you this morning for recommended approval. It is a deletion from the program, bridge project in Murray County. I'd be happy to take any questions. Otherwise, I'd ask for your favorable consideration.
We have questions, Mr. Boswell?
Yes, sir. So this bridge project is actually being funded through a different program. through a different federal program that the local governments were able to receive. So the project is still going to happen. It's just no longer happening through our program, so we're deleting it in that sense.
Yes, Mr. Glad.
Mark, thank you. Is do you have the name of the program, the federal program, or?
The Eastern Federal Lands Program.
And is it on the same timeline as it was, or just a different payment method?
I believe so. I don't know the exact timeline for the schedule, but it is happening under that program.
And that was Eastern?
Eastern Federal Lands. It's a federal program for projects that are within or entering to national forests and national lands like that.
Thank you.
All right, we have before us the thoughts of bringing up as a motion that we accept the January 2025 construction work plan that is revised. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Now, Mr. Boswell, Mr. McIntyre with a second. Do I have any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes carry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will ask our commissioner if he will come forth, Commissioner Russell McMurray, to give us our commissioner's report for the month.
All right, good morning, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Had to start off the new year here with a pretty robust report. So let us jump into it, and I'll start with the state fund collection for motor fuel and for our transportation fees. And if you recall last month, I didn't quite have the information because we slid the board meeting up a little bit earlier in the calendar. So let me report for November collections as well as December collections. So for November collections, totaled $154.8 million. Of course, excise is always the largest share at right at $132 million, and about $23 million in transportation fees. For December, that was again 154.8 in November. December, 206.1 million. I guess everybody was out going to see grandma over the holidays and traveling, as December tends to be a heavy travel month. So more revenue was recognized. 187 million in excise and 19 million in transportation fees. So that brings fiscal year to date to 1.2 billion in collections, with excise being right at 1.1 billion and 127 million in transportation fees. So just for curiosity, and I'm always wanting to say, how are we doing? So tracking to the prior fiscal year, we're at $456 million ahead of where we were. So I think that's pretty evident as you travel around and see how many people are on the roads, and those volumes continue to grow, which translates into motor fuel. The next report I always like to give is how are we doing with our personnel? You know, it's all about our people, such great staff we have. And I'm really excited to give you this number because I haven't said this number in a very long time. I'm talking about, I need to go back for many years. We have not been over 4,000 employees. And in fact, last month, we were at 4,013 employees, which is really important. We hired 71 employees and only had 29 separate from service. And I remind you that December is a fairly short work day month due to the holidays, and we had 71 people hired. So that's tremendous work by our HR teams and our hiring managers and the districts and the whole team that takes to onboard people. And we're always glad when separations are down as well. So really a great report. Those 4,013 employees are so critical for our emergency response. That's what we've been saying. We need to get at least 4,000 at the minimum to be stable. And so that was good. And as I report later about winter weather, you'll see why those employees are so important.
Mr. Park, what would be a full staff?
Not enough. So we actually target just a little above 4,000, and it's a little bit of a function of what we have for personal services. But as you know, it's always a churn, and so we try to, again, being above 4,000, we probably could get to 4,200 or so. it would be a great place to be. So we'll try to continue that trend.
We have two more questions, Commissioner.
So it may be hard for some of our board members to realize, but when I first got on the board, we had over 7,000 employees.
Correct. I was telling Jamie yesterday, when Jason Dykes did his presentation for District 1, when I had responsibility for District 1 construction, we had 105 employees in construction only. They had 33, and then when I was district engineer, this is going back to 2009, we were around 530 employees, and Jason's at 300. So just to give you the difference. And I remind you that we're delivering on the biggest budgets that we ever have had. So the team, again, hats off to the hard work of the men and women of GDOT for delivering and getting it done. So thanks, and thank you, Ms. Lemon, for that memory, yes. I won't tell you how many people were here when I started in 1990 as an intern. All right, so procurement. It takes people, but it takes a lot of help to deliver a big program, and we rely on our consultant resources and professional services for engineering and doing all the things it takes to get these projects to the point to be built and even to be built. But the professional services for December was 122 contracts executed at $84 million, bringing the fiscal year 25 year-to-date to 1,317 contracts valued at $600 million, again, to do the work to get these projects that you can approve to be bid. All right, so let's move into a couple of projects. December is always sort of hard to open projects up. Again, short month and weather usually, but we had some projects we wanted to highlight. We'll start in Congressional District 2 down in Lee County, which is GDOT District 4. And this was a little over 8 miles of milling and plant mix resurfacing and rebuilding the shoulders and adding safety features to the shoulders, like the rumble strips there. I believe those are those new rumble strips that are a little not quite as loud, but certainly do the job should you run off the road. The contractor was Reeves Construction Company, opened up on December 11th. This little over 8 miles represented a $2.2 million investment in the capital maintenance. And, Mr. Golden, it'd be good to know that this opened ahead of schedule. So, all right, let's jump over to Congressional District 8 and move up into Crisp County, which is GDOT District 4. This is just a little, not quite a quarter mile of reconstruction and rebuilding a bridge on the approach on Watson Road over Reedy Creek Branch tributary. This is again in Crisp County. Griffin Grading is the contractor, and it opened actually at the very end of November, so we got it into this month's report. It represents a $2.4 million capital bridge program investment, and this project was opened on schedule as well. So certainly a much improved bridge that will have a long-lasting effect there, again, on a county road. Now, we'll move on up to Congressional District 10 in Newton County, which is GDOT District 2. This is another bridge replacement on Benton Road. Again, another bridge investment on a local road. Benton Road is over West Bear Creek. The contractor was Williams Contracting Company. Opened up on December the 11th, represents a $1.5 million investment there in Newton County, and this project opened ahead of schedule as well. All right, off to Congressional District 12. In Jefferson County, we'll move a little east of Newton County and south to Jefferson County, GDOT District 2. Very important project, 6.5 miles of widening and reconstruction of US 1. That whole US 1 corridor is being widened. This started at County Road 138 and went up to the Fall Line Freeway. E.R. Snell contractor was the contractor for this project. Opened it up on December the 3rd. Represents this 6.5 mile widening represents a $45.7 million investment. And as you saw yesterday from the State Route 20 corridor that was highlighted, you can just see how expensive these widening projects are. And Kathy was doing the dollar per mile calculation, and you can see that this is a bargain compared to some of those State Route 20 projects. So glad to have this again. This US 1 is a major freight corridor of the state, and that's our goal, is trying to get these major freight corridor is 4 lanes, so glad to have this one. It's good. So if everybody would put their tray table in the upright position and your seat backs upright as well, we're going to fly over to Fayette County and land at Falcon Field. And you can see the improvements of a terminal apron that included the grading and the drainage and, of course, the pavement and the pavement markings associated with having that center section, which is the white new concrete. And those are some pretty nice little planes sitting on that apron. This represented a $3.4 million investment in a combination of fund sources, the largest of which was our state share at $2.4 million. Federal Aviation put in $150,000, and the local share was $827,000. So again, 3 fund sources to get this done. And listen, as we've talked to you before, housing and having planes based at Georgia's airports are very important. So glad to have that improvement at Falcon Field. All right, so that's the projects that we've opened up. Let me now turn to just some updates of things going on around the department. And we'll start with what I might call the CD14 mystery tour with Michael Gravely. Joined State Senator Chuck Payne, Council Member Nikki Lama, I may say that wrong, Dalton Mayor Anna Lee, and Dalton City Manager Andrew Parker to review the GDOT projects up in Dalton and Whitfield County. This is, Michael, becoming a little bit of a tradition, I believe, so an annual tradition. So certainly glad to have Grant Waldrop and District Traffic Engineer Christopher Raymond there to lead a tour, and I think all that were there was appreciative, and it's a really great forum, and I look forward to doing that again with you. It's a great forum to bring everybody in and just give an update of all that's going on. So thank you, Micah, for providing that update to everybody, and beautiful Christmas tree there. So, but there's also a lot of other going on around the state, and last month, a very important intersection in Columbus was recognized, the intersection at 185 and Macon Road, named for State Representative Calvin Smyrie Interchange, and of course in honor of the longest serving member of the Georgia House of Representatives. Of course, many of you know the Dean, and of course he was the first African American floor leader in the Georgia House. And of course, as you recall, he stepped down from his seat in 2022 only after serving 48 years. And so what an honor that we could be a part of that. Thank you, Kathy, for representing there and to commemorate this occasion. And of course, congratulations to Dean Smyrie for his dedication and service to the state, and a great friend to GDOT, I might add, over time, and was very instrumental back in HB 170 a decade ago. So certainly appreciate him. Now, Kathy, we will get your proper safety equipment to you, that if you're ever standing on the side of 185, we notice you don't have your hat and vest on, but we photoshopped it out. Okay, all right. All right. Okay, I'm going to move off that picture because our safety folks are concerned at the moment. All right. Again, highlighting great staff and the great people we have here at GDOT. Last month in December, I had the privilege of speaking to the Georgia section of the Institute of Transportation Engineers, or ITE, for their annual meeting. They had a packed house, and it's really a great opportunity. They highlight their year in the review, but one of their highlights I just couldn't go past without sharing with you was the announcement and of the Transportation Professional of the Year for Georgia ITE, and that's our own John Hibbert, who's our Director of Permits and Operations. And so he won that award. It was a very great day to see that. John's being recognized for his great contributions he has made for traffic engineering and also for just mentoring people. So well done, a well-deserved award for John. And I might add as well, Sam Harris, who works in the Office of Traffic Operations, who stood before you last month, was the president of the Georgia section of ITE, which is a big role as well. But you can just see how our staff contribute outside of DOT as well in the professional arena. So congratulations to John, and for Sam for his tenure as president last year. All right, a lot going on in the first part of the week of January. as always, the Transportation Research Board's annual meeting. Last week was the 104th such event, so it has a long-standing history. The Transportation Research Board is part of the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, and it provides leadership in transportation improvements and innovations through evidence-based information exchange, research, and advice regarding all modes of transportation. So as you can tell in the photo on the left, that's the entryway there at the convention center. There was 13,000 attendees, which is a very big event. I think the record had been 15,000. Obviously, COVID had changed that. But it is a incredibly large event, and where, again, there's poster sessions. It's all about research and development and all the emerging things that are in front of us. And then a lot of, again, peer exchange. And we had a good representation this year and had people attending, and we also had a poster session. That's where, again, where you present research that's going on here at GDOT. So we were able to present a poster. You can see the names that were able to attend. It was I was very honored to be able to attend and be part of several panels. I was on one of the larger panels. It was called Interstate Highway Systems Operation Resilience and Digital Infrastructure. So it was really a little bit about the focus of the interstate system, its condition, which is, as I said there, our interstates are eligible for Social Security and Medicaid, and they've all had knee replacements and hip replacements, and they're doing okay, but they're not the best. They're not in the best of shape. They're working, but they're not in the best of shape. And so the other part of my presentation, though, and part of the panel discussion, was what we informed you of just late last year, was the ability that in the process that we're putting broadband across our interstates to have connected technology capabilities and being able to have the ITS capabilities across our interstates. So that's why I was asked to be on this panel. I'm quite sure because our broadband effort there's none other like it in the nation. So we had a lot of interest in that. I had a lot of follow-up questions about how are we doing that. So I'm very honored to be there. I also had the privilege of being the moderator for a group of other state DOT commissioners and secretaries from around the nation, focusing on the infrastructure law's success in building the momentum for reauthorization. So right now, we are in the IIJA, it's the Federal Transportation Bill, which is the 5-year transportation bill, and Mr. Boswell asked yesterday about federal funding. So federal funding's been enumerated by law for 5 years, but that ends in September of 2026. So it's actually time now to be focused on beginning working with Congress on the reauthorization of the next transportation bill. I think IIJA got consumed because there was water, there was broadband, there was energy. It was a big infrastructure package nationally, but to us, it was a reauthorization of the transportation bill that included about a 20% plus up in dollars. So we had a great panel discussion with my counterparts from Pennsylvania, from Minnesota, from Utah, and from, I have to say this right, Nevada. She told me it's Nevada, not Nevada. So anyway, so it was a great panel discussion, and only an hour and a half. You know, we could have probably talked 5 hours on it, but it was a great opportunity. So certainly the most important part of TRB is having our wonderful staff be able to go, be a part, bring back innovation, bring back knowledge that then they apply here at GDOT. So very proud to do that. But while we were there, we were a little bit focused on this next agenda item you might have heard about last week, where it was the first really pretty significant snow event we've had in Metro Atlanta in quite some time. I won't go back to 2014 for good reason. But of course, one of the things that was very helpful was Governor Kemp issuing the state of emergency early, which brings resources to bear among all the state agencies. So that's a very big team effort. And of course, our crews did a fantastic job starting on Wednesday in advance of a Friday event. So getting a 36-hour to 48-hour jump in pre-treatment of brining the interstates, and all the state routes. In fact, we brined 20,000 miles of roadways. Just think about how much driving 20,000 miles is, and that's just 20,000 is just one direction. You know, you got all the lanes to cover, the ramps and turning around and all that. So that was a tremendous lift. We started our crew, we started our 12-hour shifts, and we brined I-20 from state line to state line, and we brined I-75 from Macon, from the 475 split all the way to Tennessee, and everything north of I-20. So all the state routes. And so that's a tremendous amount of prep and getting ahead, which is very important. Excuse me. Thank you. So a tremendous amount of work. And again, the winter weather came in really early Friday morning. I'm reminded that the forecast for Atlanta said there was an 80% probability that Metro Atlanta would have less than 1 inch. That was on Thursday night. And so Atlanta got 4 inches. And the mountains got 6 inches, and anything in between was probably, anywhere from 1 to 6 inches. And then there was some ice around. But this was a big effort. So we had over 300 pieces of equipment being mobilized with 1,366 employees that were on 12-hour shifts. We put down, this 20,000 miles of road, we put down 1.18 million gallons of brine. That's a lot. We used almost 15,000 tons of salt as well in treating, and you can see them on the picture on the right, loading up the trucks. Pardon me. As I said, the National Weather Service gave us these are actual snow and ice totals, so you can see how you fared where you live, if that's close by. And all of you south of Macon, congratulations. So, but you can see where that was. We did have some icing. That was really always the concern. Look, snow, we can plow, we can manage snow, but when you get freezing rain and icing, that becomes a different challenge. So throughout the winter weather event, obviously not only getting ahead of the weather, but working with the media in early announcements and working, again, to get the message out. Again, governor's preemption on state of emergency led for schools to be out, which makes things a lot easier for us to work. I apologize. And of course, we had some great opportunities. Natalie Dell was on Good Morning America, so national news feed, and also the Weather Channel, again, national news, so they certainly like that. We had opportunity, of course, Governor did a press conference on Friday morning at 10 a.m. for our collective state efforts with GEMA, Department of Public Safety, and of course, GDOT, so we're glad to do that. And of course, it's always great to see positive messages on social media. That's sort of rare, but we're glad to see those, and you can see some of the kudos we got here. We validated that none of these are from family members, so okay, we proved those out. But we always appreciate the kind words, and there's a lot more of those. But social media is full of all kind of things, posts. So I'm going to show you this next video clip, and I'm going to warn you that it could be loud. And again, we validate it. This is not from a GDOT family member. So if this works, just be ready, because this is sort of loud. Let me see if it'll play.
GDOT! Woo!
So there you go. Thank you, Josh. And again, I have to say we love that enthusiasm. I don't think the truck driver heard that, but we certainly appreciate that. One of the things we talk about always is innovation and the ability to innovate and bring technology to help us do our job better. And a few months ago, Emily Fish shared with you our winter weather preparation, and we talked about the technology we have in salt barns to be able to keep up with how much salt we're using. And this is a neat technology. So if you watch this is a little bit of a time lapse of the salt disappearing and then reappearing. And so we shuffle salt around as we need to. And after this last storm, we've been shuffling salt around. The top left there is contours that calculates the volume of salt. So we know what we have. We know how to be responsive. The way this used to work was the people running the loader, lifting the salt, would put ticks on how many buckets they use, and if somebody forgot to ticket, overnight and whatever, then we didn't know what we had. And so this technology certainly gives us real-time ability to do that. So, very, very good. So, before I move on, I will give you a teaser. How am I doing on time, Tim? I got another hour? This is from yesterday. So there is a big weather event potential coming in next week. The entire state is going to be very cold, Sunday through like next Wednesday, Thursday. So we're watching this now, having briefings with the Weather Service, and we'll begin our preparation for what may happen next week, which looks like the onset could be Tuesday. Models still not quite jailed yet, but we're not only, we got that one past us, but we're focused on the next one. So, and we'll keep you posted as weather may move forward. So, as always, we have the opportunity to be involved in a lot of things, and one of quite an honor was to be able to be involved with our 39th President's funeral procession from Plains in Sumter County all the way to Atlanta, to the Capitol, and then to the Carter Center. Again, Governor issued a state of emergency so that all the state agencies could come together and help with any resource need, especially a lot of work in and around Plains. That's where actually the station of the Secret Service and all the command center was stationed. It was affectionately called the Wasp Nest. That's where everybody was stationed. We had people embedded there. We had our Emily Fish and Matt Needham, and our GDOT District 3 team just did a fantastic job of keeping the roadways clear, litter picked up, just helping moving barrels and working with State Patrol and DPS. We restationed message signs, barrels, drums, just being responsive to anything they need. We had a plan that had been in a while, and we executed on that plan, and working again along with Secret Service and State Patrol and all the entities that were involved in such a historic event. And one of the things that I was most proud of was we had a hero unit in the funeral procession from Plains to the Carter Center. What a point of pride that GDOT was part of the presidential funeral, part of the nation's history. And that was just a big badge of honor. I think everybody that did something that worked, just what an honor and a privilege it was to be part of the nation's history.
Commissioner Kathy?
Madam Chair, thank you. I want to brag just a little bit more than you just did on the whole flavor of the funeral services. Of course, I was down there several times that week, and I can't tell my fellow board members how many times I heard from people saying, man, this place looks great down here. I mean, the team that went in and helped clean up the roads and cut and pick up litter and pull back trees and everything, it showed off Plains and Congressional District 2 to the world. And it was beautiful all the way through from beginning to end. So kudos to District 3 and any other ones. I know there were other districts that sent in personnel. It was phenomenal. And my husband was there every day for the 11 or 12 days. And he just constantly talked about how beautiful it looked. So thank you very much for showing off Congressional District to the world.
Well, you're welcome, and again, what an honor. I might add, District 7 had a huge role as well as the motorcade made its way here. And again, same thing, cleaning up roadsides, roadways, and you really want to put our best foot forward for the nation and the world, as you said. So for that, so what an honor and a privilege. I made mention last month about our annual awards recognition, but I thought I'd share the winners with you. We couldn't go through everything that we did because we handed out over 51 awards around the state. We went to each district to give out awards, but then that culminated in an event held right here in the boardroom, last month. And so I just thought I'd highlight the statewide winners. So, there's district winners, and then we have statewide winners. And the first award I'd like to mention is the Sean Carnacki Award, which is a relatively new award. It's presented to one of the GDOT highway maintenance foremen 2 or below whose commitment to safety and GDOT of Georgia roadways and citizens is exemplary. The employee has demonstrated a willingness to go above and beyond the call of duty, has made a positive impact on their colleagues in the department, and shows extraordinary dedication to keeping Georgians moving safely and efficiently. You may recall the award is named for Sean Carnacki, who was tragically lost his life on the job back in 2023, and bestowed, also this is bestowed in recognition of all the GDOT employees that lost their lives in the line of duty. And so this year's recipient showed that consistently shows a deep commitment to safety in his area and roadways to the citizens. And the Sean Carnacki Award winner for, and I should say this is actually for 2023. They lag a year. And due to the hurricane, we had to push all the way to December. We would have done this in the fall, but due to the hurricanes and state of emergency, so this is actually 2023 acknowledgement. Now that we're in 2025, that seems really bad, but that's what it is. But the winner for the Sean Carnacki Award is Michael Williford, and he actually goes by Tony, and has embraced all the employees, taking new employees under his wing. He is taking an interest in seeing employees succeed by aiding them in achieving their goals of learning their CDL license and acquiring additional equipment certification. So really appreciate Tony for his effort, again, to help employees be successful. He's giving back to employees, helping them gain their CDLs and more equipment training. The next award is one we give out, and you might find this interesting. We call this the Wayne Shackelford Leadership Award. It's a single statewide award presented annually to a GDOT employee who's consistently demonstrated exceptional leadership skills, commitment to the department, and service to the public. It is the department's highest award, as its recipient is distinguished by their expertise, value, and ability to be a positive role model and an excellent leader. And this year's recipient certainly possesses a wealth of knowledge and experience and continues to be an invaluable asset to the department up until he retired, and that is Keenan Ford. Keenan is now retired, but was obviously had a big role in his 3 decades at GDOT, and certainly has made many accomplishments. As you recall, Keenan retired as our district construction engineer in Thomaston office. So congratulations to Keenan. And lastly is the James F. Condren Award, who's named from a former federal highway administrator, transportation engineer, and it's a memorial to his contribution to the agency and bestowed by Federal Highway Administration. I know Sabrina David couldn't be here today, but she's watching, she said. So we appreciate Federal Highway acknowledging great work by our GDOT employees. And so the James Condren Award winner for 2023 was Miss Amber Phillips. And then again, Sabrina provided the award to Amber. Amber is in the Office of Environmental Services. In Amber's role, she's a liaison with Federal Highway on our MMIP program and the NEPA lead for our entire program, which is a huge responsibility. Amber finds a way to work cooperatively and collaboratively with everybody she encounters, and certainly close coordination with Federal Highway environmental coordinators to, again, as you saw yesterday from Jim Pomfret on the context studies, doing innovative things like that. So congratulations to Amber. She is a great resource, and that is so well deserved and to be recognized by Federal Highway. So again, congratulations to all of them. And Madam Chair, I'll conclude my comments.
Do I have any questions or remarks? Yes.
I have a question. Russell, back to your comments about our workforce and you achieving your goals of 4,000. I've been impressed with the camaraderie we share with all of our consulting engineers and contractors. Do you have a feel for how big that workforce is every day or every year that helps us do our work?
I don't, off the cuff, we'd have to try to figure that out. It's large.
Yes.
It's larger than our footprint.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Bowen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to make a mention this morning. 10 years ago today, this board elected Mr. McMurray as our commissioner. And I would like to thank him for the great leadership that he has demonstrated over these 10 years in moving this state in a new direction.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. I have a photo in my office of many of you who was in the governor's office 10 years ago for a different event. And I will tell you that we all look the same, but my kids look a lot different.
Yeah.
Thank you for that recognition.
Any other comments or questions to our commissioner? Commissioner, I too want to say thank you, and we're glad that you accepted to come here and work with us as our commissioner and lead the state of Georgia in transportation. And we appreciate the governor's reaction to our request, which was wonderful. With that, we also have a great group of 1,300 employees that now work for us, that we're very appreciative of them for what they have done, and particularly noticing in the last few months all the different, I guess you can say, disasters that have happened across our state. This board is very appreciative of the reports that you bring to us each month to let us know just how outstanding our GDOT family truly is. So thank you in that regards also. Yes, Mr. Bowen. Boswell.
No, I just want to say, I mean, Mr. McMurray is a perfect example of why leadership is important.
It's an honor and a privilege to work with this team behind me, so thank you for that opportunity.
Well, thank you for serving us in the position that you do. At this time, we will go forward with our committee reports from yesterday, and our first committee will be the Legislative Committee, chaired by the committee chair, Dan Snipes. Dan?
Thank you. The Legislative Committee convened on January the 15th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. Board members present included myself, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Boswell, Mr. Golden, Ms. Purcell, Mr. McIntyre, Ms. Williams, Ms. Key, Mr. Bowen, and Mr. Lewis. Our first order of business was to hear from Joshua Waller, the Director of Policy and Government Affairs for the department. He presented a state and federal legislative update. Mr. Waller noted that the General Assembly convened this week and adopted an adjournment resolution with sine die scheduled for Friday, April the 4th. He also gave us a reminder that the federal government continues to operate under a continuing resolution through March the 14th of this year. There were no committee actions taken, and the committee adjourned at 1:35 p.m. This concludes my report.
Thank you so very much. We have our Finance Committee, and the chairman is Ms. Stacy Key, and I'll ask if she will give that report.
Thank you. The Finance Committee convened on January 15th, 2025 at 1:38 p.m. Board members present include Emily Dunn, Dennis McIntyre, Kurt Thompson, Jamie Boswell, Jeff Lewis, Ann Purcell, Kathy Williams, Rudy Bowen, Tim Golden, Dan Snipes, and Dana Lemon. First order of business, Angela Wentworth, Treasurer, presented the amended full year 2025 and 2026 budget requests. She reported that revenue for the amended 2025 budget increased by a total of $257 million due to increase in excise. This adjustment increases the amended 2025 budget to $2,761,374,387. She discussed the governor's speech at the exit issues about adding $250 million to the local roads administration program and $530 million to the freight infrastructure project program in the amended 2025 budget. She then presented the full year 2026 budget, which increased $295 million and some change. This adjustment reflects an increase of $284,534 in excise funds, $10,282,227 increase in transportation trust funds, and $5,613,163 in transit trust funds, and a decrease of $4,840,357 in state general funds. This adjustment increases the full year 2026 budget to $2,799,429,420. Oh my. The committee action, there were no committee actions. The committee adjourned at 1:52 p.m. This concludes my report.
Thank you. We will have our intermodal committee by Committee Chair Emily Dunn.
The Intermodal Committee convened on January 15th, 2025 at 1:53 p.m. Board members present included myself, Lemon, McIntyre, Thompson, Williams, Purcell, Boswell, Key, Bowen, Golden, Lewis, and Snipes. Our first order of business was we heard from Chet Welch, our State Safety Oversight Program Administrator, who presented an overview of the SSO program and risk-based inspection program for the implementation in 2025. The SSO program update highlighted the enormous value of GDOT's oversight of MARTA to maintain a safety culture and compliance with FTA regulations. An update on a brand-new federal directive to establish and implement an RBI program and its benefits was also presented. There were no committee actions, and the committee adjourned at 2:05 p.m. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Our committee chair of the Program Delivery Committee, Jeff Lewis, now will report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Program Delivery Committee convened on January 15, 2025 at 2:06 p.m. Board members present included myself, Golden, McIntyre, Key, Snipes, Lemon, Purcell, Boswell, Williams, Bowen, Thompson, and Dunn. First order of business, Brian Lott, GDOT Office of Program, District 6 Program Manager, provided an update on the State Route 20 corridor, which included the status of multiple individual projects with project limits extending from I-75 in Bartow County to just east of North Corners Parkway in Forsyth County. He stated the overall need and purpose for the projects, which is to improve congestion and reduce crash frequency and severity while accommodating future growth and development in the region. Additionally, he highlighted the robust past and current public outreach efforts for the project, which included coordination with property owners, developers, county and federal agencies. Specifically, Mr. Lott presented the status of each improvement project that is either under construction or in design. There were no committee actions. The committee adjourned at 2:23 p.m., and this concludes my report.
Thank you. As the board chair, the Committee of the Whole was convened yesterday at 2:24 p.m. Board members present was myself, Boswell, McIntyre, Williams, Key, Bowen, Thompson, Golden, Dunn, Lewis, Snipes, and Lemon. Our first order of business was Mr. Jim Pomvit, Assistant Office Head, Office of the Environmental Service, provided a presentation on the Cultural Resource Context Study. From this study, explained what that truly meant, are the benefits and the benefits they provide, and gave some examples of context studies completed by our own GDOT. He also described that these context studies can streamline the environmental process by providing resource identification and evaluation guides for practitioners, as well as reduce disagreements with the SHPO by having documents prepared in consultation with them. The seminary context won 3 awards in 2024, and the Federal Road and Ranch House context won awards in 2010. Our second order of business was Mr. Jason Dykes, our District 1 engineer, who gave an update report from the GDOT District 1. He highlighted the District 1's team, the traffic operations, state aid, utilities, and pre-construction. He also discussed projects under construction around the district and the district maintenance activities. We had no committee actions to be taken. The committee was adjourned at 2:59 PM, and that includes our report for the committee of the whole for yesterday. As we move forward, is there any new business? Yes, Mr. Boswell.
If you will bear with me, I'd like to read a statement from my
Please.
family. If you will bear with me for a moment, I want to thank so many of you for your support for our family. It's very difficult when you lose your best friend. It is even more difficult when your best friend is your son. In lieu of that, myself and my family want to thank everyone for their unbelievable support during the last 2 months. Although nothing will ever erase the heartbreak of our loss, knowing the compassion and love of so many will forever be a pillar of strength our family can lean on and be thankful for. Again, thank you for your prayers and support, and may God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Boswell. Any further new business? I also want to say something. Once again, Georgia Trend has recognized 2 of our members as being amongst the 100 most influential people in the state of Georgia for 2025. That is our own Commissioner, Russell McMurray, and also our state planner, who is Janine Miller. And I wanted to just bring that attention to the board. We're very fortunate to have great leaders, but they are very fortunate to have a good board like us and the rest of the employees of CDOT. I just had to put that in, Commissioner. But is there any other announcements? If not, we look forward to our February meeting, which will convene here in February. Please enjoy your next 3 weeks prior to the board meetings, not so close together now, Commissioner, so we expect a little more interest and phenomena, but no disasters in this time period. But we do appreciate everyone. Thank you for being here for our board meeting. Thank you to those for their presence with us today. And with that, we stand adjourned.
Before 10 o'clock?